Today, we will delve into one of the most emotional and impactful narratives in the Bible, the marriage of the prophet Hosea to a woman of loose morals. In this video, we will reveal why God gave Hosea such an unusual instruction. The story, found in the book of Hosea, transcends mere historical narrative. It invites us to understand the profound relationship between God and the people of Israel. Before we proceed with this fascinating story, we would like to invite you to subscribe to the channel and share your thoughts in the comments. Hosea's narrative is timeless and universal, demonstrating God's unwavering love and constant relationship with the people of Israel. Imagine Hosea, a man of unwavering faith, receiving a divine order that defies all human expectations. Hosea was instructed by a divine order to marry someone whose existence was marked by transgressions and licentiousness. This act was not merely symbolic but rather a vivid representation of Israel's sad spiritual reality at that time. The biblical story recounts that Israel's departure from God was a recurring pattern. Various reasons over the centuries led to this separation, as evidenced at the beginning of the Lord's words through Hosea. The Lord said to Hosea, "Marry a promiscuous woman and have children with her, for the land is guilty of the vilest adultery in departing from the Lord." Hosea 1 verses 2-3. Israel was often influenced by the religious and cultural practices of neighboring nations, adopting foreign gods and participating in pagan rituals instead of exclusively worshiping the God of Israel. In search of material prosperity and security, Israel sometimes worshipped gods associated with abundance, such as the golden calf built in the desert during the Exodus. The Lord also said, "Go and love again a woman who is loved by another man and is an adulteress, just as the Lord loves the Israelites though they turn to other gods and love the sacred raisin cakes." Hosea 3 verse 1. There were times when Israel forgot the wonders that God had performed on their behalf, resulting in loss of faith and trust. In response to Israel's persistent unfaithfulness, God often allowed calamities and invasions as a form of punishment and correction, events that led the people to seek God again in times of difficulty. The departure from God was a cycle that repeated itself, with God calling the people back through prophets like Hosea, Isaiah, and Jeremiah. God instructed the prophet Hosea to marry a prostitute as a symbolic representation of the relationship between him and the people of Israel. This divine order had profound significance and conveyed a powerful message. Firstly, it demonstrated Israel's unfaithfulness to God. Adultery and spiritual prostitution were metaphors often used in Scripture to describe the idolatry of the people of Israel, who often abandoned God in favor of other pagan gods. By accepting this challenging task, Hosea was willing to enter into a relationship that reflected the tumultuous relationship between God and Israel. Israel's unfaithfulness and betrayal, which often abandoned worship of the God who had liberated them from Egypt for other gods, was symbolized in Hosea's marriage. Hosea's marriage also represented God's unwavering love and faithfulness to his people, despite their transgressions, just as Hosea welcomed Gomer back. Even after unfaithfulness and being rescued from adverse situations, God was willing to forgive and reconcile with Israel, even when they turned away from him. This narrative of love and redemption is a recurring theme in the Bible, highlighting divine patience and mercy. "Therefore, I am now going to allure her. I will lead her into the wilderness and speak tenderly to her. There I will give her back her vineyards, and will make the valley of Achor a door of hope. There she will respond as in the days of her youth." Hosea 2 verses 14-15. After Hosea's marriage to Gomer, the story records a tumultuous period in the life of this prophet and in Israel. The symbolic marriage had a divine purpose, serving as a vivid illustration of the relationship between God and the people of Israel. The Lord instructed Hosea to remain faithful to Gomer, even in the face of her unfaithfulness, representing God's constant love for Israel, despite their idolatry and spiritual unfaithfulness. As the story unfolded, Gomer continued to drift away from Hosea, reflecting Israel's tendency to seek other symbolic gods. The verses related to the paragraph describing Gomer's tendency to drift away from Hosea and his choice of symbolic names for their children are in the early chapters of the book of Hosea. At the beginning of the Lord's words through Hosea, the Lord said, "Go, marry a promiscuous woman and have children with her, for the land is guilty of the vilest adultery in departing from the Lord." Hosea 1 verse 2. And the Lord said to him, Call her name Jezreel, for in just a little while I will punish the house of Jehu for the blood of Jezreel, and I will put an end to the kingdom of the house of Israel. Hosea 1 verse 4. She conceived again and bore a daughter. And the Lord said to him, Call her name No Mercy, for I will no more have mercy on the house of Israel, to forgive them at all. Hosea 1 verse 6. And the Lord said, Call his name Not My People, for you are not my people, and I am not your God. Hosea 1 verse 9. Eventually, Gomer fell into difficult circumstances, perhaps even into slavery. At this point, Hosea rescued her and brought her back home, symbolizing the way God continually sought to bring Israel back into his presence and restore their relationship with him. The story of Hosea and Gomer, recorded in the book of Hosea in the Bible, is a powerful testament to God's unwavering love for his people and his willingness to forgive and restore, even in the face of unfaithfulness. This story also highlights the importance of fidelity and commitment in relationships, both human and divine. Many of us face difficult circumstances in our lives, moments when we find ourselves lost and distant from our divine purpose. The story of Hosea teaches us that, no matter how far we have gone, God is willing to rescue us, to take us out of darkness and bring us back into his presence. God's love is immeasurable, and his grace is sufficient to forgive and restore us, no matter how deeply we have fallen. This story also reminds us of the importance of fidelity and commitment in our relationships. Just as Hosea remained devoted to Gomer despite her unfaithfulness, we are challenged to develop fidelity and perseverance in our human relationships. In modern times, where bonds can be fragile and disposable, Hosea's story inspires us to fight for those we love, seeking reconciliation and restoration even in the face of challenges that seem insurmountable. Furthermore, this biblical narrative shows us that even in the most desperate situations, hope prevails. Hosea did not give up on Gomer, and God never gives up on us, regardless of the storms we face in our lives. God's redeeming love continues to shine as a light that never goes out. This story echoes in our hearts, reminding us that in the midst of darkness, we can find love, restoration, and hope in our relationship with God and in relationships with those around us. I hope this story has touched you and brought inspiration and reflection to your life. We will continue to bring meaningful and transformative content to strengthen your faith and understanding of Scripture. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this channel with others who may also benefit from these messages. Thank you for joining us on this journey of spiritual discovery. And so we come to the end of this incredible journey through the story of Hosea and his wife Gomer. In this account, we witness God's unwavering faithfulness reflected in Hosea's commitment, even in the face of apparent unfaithfulness. This story is a powerful reminder that God's redeeming love transcends our failures and transgressions. May this story resonate in our hearts, inspiring us to cultivate fidelity in our relationships and to seek reconciliation, just as God seeks restoration in our relationship with him. To all who have joined us on this spiritual journey, thank you. May the peace and grace of God be with us always until the next video.